Jaya Jaya Shankara Hara Hara Shankara. Namaskaram. Welcome to the Global Festival of Oneness. This is our 6th year doing this online 1 month long conference on the works and teachings of Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya. We have 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the evening. And this is to create awareness about his works so each of us can go and do a lot more reading. And today we have the privilege of hearing from Indica Moksha's Kulapati, Dr. Nagaraj Paturi Garu. His topic is going to talk us about Panchakoshanishedha in Viveka Chudamani by Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya. A brief bio about Dr. Nagaraj Garu. Trained in Sanskrit and Advaita Vedanta by his hyper polyglot, polymath, and spiritually accomplished Sakala Shastra Parangata, his father, late Sri Paturi Sitaramanjaneyal Garu. Dr. Nagaraj Paturi Garu is seriously committed to the transmission of Vedic sciences to the present generation. In his PhD thesis from 1998, University of Hyderabad, he developed an Indic model of myth criticism of literature, and in his Master of Philosophy in 87, he foregrounded Vakyapadiya as the theoretical foundation of the Astadhyayi. In addition to over 50 publications and about 60 conferences, seminar, and workshop papers, Dr. Paturi has designed several courses pertaining to the contemporary applications of Vedic sciences and has been successfully teaching them and getting them taught all over the world. Formerly Senior Professor of Cultural Studies, Flame School of Communication, and a visiting professor at University of Chicago, USA, Dr. Paturi is currently Senior Director and Chief Curator at Indica, a distinguished professor, curriculum designer, executive committee member, Board of Studies, MIT School of Vedic Sciences in Pune, Maharashtra, member, Board of Studies at Kavikula Guru, Kalidasa Sanskrit University, and Rashtam School of Public Leadership at Sonipat, Haryana. He is also the editor-in-chief of International Journals of Studies in Public Leadership and is a member of Advisory Council of Veda Vijnana Shoda Samsthanam in Bengaluru, Karnataka. He has provided consultancy to numerous cultural research, theatre, and dance innovation projects, authored scores of creative writing works for classical dance, modern theatre, and magazines, and has delivered several series of talks and other programs on radio and television channels. It is truly, sir, our privilege and our Purvjanma Sukritam to listen to you on a very important work of Adi Shankara, Viveka Chudamani on Panchakoshanishedha. Over to you, sir. We will not have a Q&A today, so you have the full hour to speak. Namaskaram.
Namaste. Oh. विदिताखिल शास्त्र सुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत्कदित कदितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् श्रीविद्याम्बुधिपारगं गहनगं शश्वत्तपस्साधनम् प्राचीनाधुनिकादिशास्त्रनिचये मर्मज्ञमालोचकम् अद्वैतात्ममहानुभूतिजनितप्रेमं निराडम्बरम् सीतारामपदाङ्कितं मम गुरुं सिद्धाञ्जनेयं भजे. The choice of today's topic, in fact, happened a few months ago when a related topic was chosen by an organization called Aham Brahmasmi, for a series of talks on Shankara Bhagavatpada, and in a particular season, they chose Viveka Chudamani for the series of talks. It happened at Shringeri Shankara Matha at Hyderabad, and the talks were organized in Telugu, and the organization divided the whole of Viveka Chudamani into various portions, and they allotted the topics to the speakers, allotted the portions to the speakers. It fell on me to take up the portion which actually comes under this Panchakosha aspect. So it was given to me. This topic was given to me by the organizers of those series of talks. But I found it to be some mahima, some miracle that that topic reached me, because this is such an interesting topic, particularly given the contemporary situation in the academic world in the country. Those of you who know may know that now there is an entire what we can call movement in academics called Indian Knowledge Systems Movement, IKS movement. People are bringing out various shastras and folk knowledge systems, tribal knowledge systems, and applying them to contemporary requirements. In fact, that movement started earlier, but after Government of India started under its Ministry of Education a division called IKS division, it received a lot of traction. Now there is a whole big talk about IKS and its possibility of it becoming one of the mainstream academic activities in the whole of Indian academics. One of the Shastra areas which received attention during the early reception of IKS was the psychology. And in the early attractions from Shastra towards psychology was this Panchakosha that we are going to speak today. And what happened for the attraction to develop towards Panchakosha theory was the psychology students receiving a theory called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This Maslow's hierarchy of needs has 5 needs in it. So what happened, as it always happens, is people started jumping at these 5 needs because they are 5 and Panchakoshas are also 5. They started comparing the 5 needs of Maslow with the Panchakosha theory. But gradually, particularly after I started Vedic psychology course at a university in Pune and started critically talking about this comparison and started telling people that, oh, this is completely hasty to compare these two completely unrelated theories, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the Panchakosha theory, and started explaining that these two, why they are so different in their jurisdiction and ideas. Now a complete new awareness about Panchakosha theory has emerged, and now it has become so widely prevalent and popular that almost every proposal for a new psychological model from India is now gravitating towards Panchakosha theory. Because I have been involved in the whole process, and now I'm involved in the development of a new emphasis on Panchakosha all over the academic innovations in India. And this same portion of Viveka Chudamani was allotted to me. I thought, yeah, it must be Shankara Bhagavatpada's Mahima that this portion was allotted to me. I wrote an introduction to my father's Telugu Vyakhyana, Telugu commentary on Viveka Chudamani that was published. And in that, I was highlighting all the portions of Viveka Chudamani, that Vyakhyana by my father, who is a Siddha Purusha in Advaita sadhana and Shividya sadhana. All the areas like how Shankara emphasizes in Viveka Chudamani, the prakaranagrantha. For those who do not know, I have to tell that prakaranagranthas are made easy books in a Shastra Adhyayana. And in a Shastra Adhyayana Parampara, people teach prakaranagrantha's as a beginner's course, and then gradually use these as steps and take them to the final original classic texts. For example, in Advaita Vedanta, after teaching prakaranagrantha's like Panchadashi, Vedanta Panchadashi, and Viveka Chudamani, and all the remaining Prakarana Granthas, gradually they are finally taken to Shankara Bhashya of Brahma Sutras and Shankara Bhagavatpada's Upanishad Bhashyas, and then Bhagavad Gita Bhashya by Shankaracharya. So this book, Viveka Chudamani, is one of those early steps, beginner steps that are used in the Adhyayana. Shankara Bhagavatpada's magnanimity, broad-mindedness, is that he composed both these kinds of books. He composed beginners' books for the advantage of the beginners and books of a very high standard that require a lot of background, like Sutra Bhashya, Gita Bhashya, and Upanishad Bhashya, which is called Prasthanatraya Bhashya. These three sources are called Prasthanatraya. That is why the Bhashya of those three is called Prasthanatraya Bhashya. That would be the final stage of studying Advaita Vedanta under a Guru Shishya Parampara. This book, Viveka Chudamani, has been in our childhood memories because there used to be elderly women who underwent Advaita Vedanta training from sometimes families, sometimes from gurus. They used to come and make us children sit at some place and go on talking about, for example, Panchikarana part of Viveka Chudamani, particularly, and many other very important portions of Viveka Chudamani. So it was there with us from the childhood. So I was highlighting in my father's book shlokas like Avijñāte pare tatve alpam shastra prayojanam, Vijñāte pare tatve alpam shastra prayojanam. The shloka is saying that if Paratattva is already realized by a certain individual, there is no use of Shastra for such people. If the Paratattva is not realized by such individuals also, Shastra is of no use. Actually, what it is saying is that the Prayojana of Shastra is to experience Advaita only. Vijñāte pare tattve means Vijñāta here does not mean the intellectual Vijnana, Anubhava. So if there is no Anubhava of Advaita in an individual, there is no use of Shastra. All the Shastra study can be deemed to have gone waste. But if in the case of people like Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who have a realization of Advaita Anubhuti in them, for them it is wrong to say that they have not studied Shastras at all. That is the import of this shloka. So I went on highlighting all these in the introduction, and I was talking about the Bhakti Reva Gariyasi line from Viveka Chudamani. And my father discovered that Shankara gave a definition of Maya etymologically, and that he noted for his Viveka Chudamani Vyakhyana. But before the book was published, he had to leave his physical body and attain Siddhi. So I included that in Viveka Chudamani, his definition of Maya, etymological definition of Maya that he included in that. So at that time, I did not have the opportunity to talk about this portion, the Panchakosha portion of Viveka Chudamani. So I thought, okay, now I got the opportunity to talk about that. And my talk was in Telugu. Because the audience was different, I was not focusing on this particular IKS question, psychological question. Today, I want to focus on that. For those who have no clue to Panchakosha, let me just give a brief introduction. Kosha actually means a sack, a bag. But this has been used, this word kosha, sack, bag, has been used in Shastras, in Bharatiya Shastras, in a very technical sense of portions, areas, which are interrelated to each other. Here, this word Panchakosha is coming from a particular Upanishad called Taittiriya Upanishad. It is that Upanishad has a very interesting narration of a Guru Shishya conversation. A Guru is conversing with his Shishya, and in that very interesting and practical, practice-based, Anubhava-based pedagogy of Upanishadic times, the Guru makes the Shishya go to graze the cows and come back and answer the Guru. Actually, the conversation starts from the Shishya himself. So now, without going into the actual details within the Upanishad, in short, the story is the Shishya is trying to know what is all around. What is the essence of the cosmos, cosmic essence? What is everything? Actually, this Panchakosha theory, for those who are interested, is a theory of everything. There is a very big obsession for theories of everything, right? Uh, and after the theory of relativity and others in physics, people are now talking about theory of everything in physics and all that. But this theory of Panchakosha, there is no greater theory of everything than Panchakosha theory. So he was trying to know something like that. The child was asking the guru to know something like a theory of everything. So, what everything is made of was his question. And in stages, the Shishya comes back and tells the Guru that now I realize that Annam is everything. And then he, in the second step, says Prana is everything. And then in the third stage, he says Manas is everything. And then in the fourth stage, he says Vijnana is everything. And finally, he says Ananda is everything. These Upanishadic terms have to be seen as untranslatables. So to translate Anna as something may be wrong, but for ease of understanding, we can translate Anna as food. So Anna is everything, means food is everything. So how, because the Shishya, the child, the student has observed the cows grazing, he realizes that, okay, so food is getting into entities, and because all are consuming food, and this food is getting transformed into those objects. So this material which is getting consumed and is forming the bodies of bodies, it is everything. So it is the consumed material which forms the bodies of the materials. That is everything, because everything is full of this consumed material. So in that sense, he says food is everything, annam is everything. But in the next stage, he realizes that prana, the breath that is being inhaled, it is actually making the entities work. And this prana, actually, the Upanishad gives us all the details of how many kinds of those breaths are inside, and this knowledge of prana and all the details inside the prana analysis within living organisms is available in Ayurvedic texts also. So prana is not simple life, or we keep using the word prana in a very general sense of the prana has gone. When somebody passes away, people say he lost his prana. Not in that sense. It is actually uh, a very minute and micro level aspect of breath, or breath breathable material. But inside the body, pranas, we use the word pranas. There is one way of using pranas in the form of pancha pranas, prana, pana, vyano, dana, samanas. And there are more micro level, minute analysis, analytical concepts of prana, which makes it thousands of pranas. And those thousands of pranas traveling throughout the living organism in the through the passages, channels, uh, which are again in those thousands of numbers only. One of the Ayurvedic texts gives 22,000 such channels in the body through which these breath-like vibrations and pulses, we can say, signals move throughout the living organism's body. So that is prana. So the Shishya realizes that, okay, this is superficial to say that food is everything, but inside the food made or matter made body of living organisms, there is this uh, breath, vibration, signals that are passing all through the living organism's body through thousands of channels. So that is actually everything. That is running everything, and everything is made up of that only. Uh, and then in the next stage, he comes back and says, no, even these signals, even these breaths and vibrations inside moving through thousands of channels, all these are moving because of mind. So mind is everything. Everything is made up of mind only, he concludes. And then he then says that even mind is the processes which happen inside the mind. Thus, that is Vijnana. So it is those processes which are very important. So those mental processes are everything. Everything is made up of those mental processes, Vijnana. And finally, he, in the fifth stage, he says, oh no, I now realize that pleasure, happiness, which is absolute happiness, absolute pleasure, unblemished pleasure, a happiness which is not touched by sorrow, which is defined in Upanishads as Ananda. Ananda is an untranslatable word. Etymologically, it comes from the root Nand. Ah is the prefix there. But without going into the etymological semantics, we can, Shastras define Ananda as absolute bliss. There is this word bliss in English, so people translate Ananda as bliss. But it is in Shastras defined as happiness which is not touched by sorrow. There is no touch of sorrow. What is meant by touched by sorrow? The happiness that is relative to sorrow. We always perceive our happiness as absence of sorrow. Sorrow as absence of happiness. These two are relative to each other and inversely proportional to each other. So they always exist together in an inverse proportionality. The rise of happiness lessens sorrow, and rise of sorrow lessens happiness. But if there is any happiness which is beyond this sorrow and happiness, this pure happiness and enjoyment and relish only, that is defined as Ananda. And the Shishya, the student, the child concludes that, oh, this absolute bliss, absolute happiness, this is actually the everything. We are made up of that. And that is getting manifest into the outer layers, mental processes, mind, and breath-like signals all through the vital organism, and the material with which the bodies are made. So that is the Panchakosha theory. In that final conclusion is that everything is made up of Ananda. So just for the purpose of understanding, one may visualize these Panchakoshas as concentric circles or concentric spheres in which the central sphere or the central point can be seen as Ananda, and all the outer circles or outer spheres can be visualized as the next levels Vijnana, Manas, Prana, and then Anna. So, Anna is the outermost sphere or circle, and inner circles or spheres are Prana, Manas, and Vijnana. So, Ananda is at the center of this. This is only for visualization. In fact, the way they actually operate in an individual organism or in the organism of the cosmos. Cosmos is viewed as an organism. That is what is called Purusha in the Purusha Sukta. So, in the organism of the cosmos or in an individual living organism, the way they actually physically exist, all these five levels, is very complex. They are all interwoven in each other. But for a theoretical, diagrammatic understanding purpose, we are imagining them to be these spheres and circles. And the theory is placing Ananda at the center. So it is saying that Ananda is the key, the central key of everything. But is Anna leading to Ananda or Ananda leading to Anna? That is a totally different discussion for another day. So, because this is the understanding, in Viveka Chudamani, there is a discussion between Guru and Shishya where the Upanishadic Vakya, Tattvamasi, is being discussed. Upanishads are instructing us that Tattvamasi. The statement Tattvamasi can be split into three words, most of you already probably know. Tat, Tvam, and Asi. Tat is that, Tvam is you, Asi is are, equivalent in English. So you or that is the translation for Tattvamasi. And the discussion is about who is this you in this you or that, and who is or what is that is being called that here. And this portion, the Panchakosha portion of Viveka Chudamani, is actually all about this you. Who is this you part of this you or that? So while the Guru answering the you part, what is you, he brings in this Panchakosha discussion, one part. So in Shastriya way of studying Viveka Chudamani, they consider this whole Panchakosha portion as Tvam Padaartha Vichaara. Tvam Padaartha Vichaara. You word meaning analysis is this portion. Before this part of Viveka Chudamani comes in, Viveka Chudamani claims, the Guru claims that the whole book is a discussion of aatmaanaatmaviveka. There is this word Viveka Chudamani, Viveka. Viveka is discerning or distinguishing ability. What are you distinguishing? For distinguishing, you have to have two or more entities to distinguish. Here, the distinguishing is between self and non-self. Atma, Anatma, Vivekas. What is self and what is non-self? That discrimination, that distinction, that distinguishing. This book is the crown jewel. People use the word crown jewel. This book is the crown jewel of books that give you the ability to distinguish between self and non-self. Is the claim from the title, Viveka Chudamani. So it is saying that there is an aatmaanaatmaviveka in this book, and in the portion before this Panchakosha Vichaarana also, this aatmaanaatmaviveka appears. Just before today's talk started, the highly accomplished IT professional and a great follower of Shankara Bhagavatpada, Ravi Shankar Gundlapalli Garu, who was introducing me before this talk. He was saying that he has got a curiosity about this topic because Panchakosha is actually everything. And we are talking about, and Panchakosha, he was mentioning that Varanasi is Panchakosha, and in one of the stotras it is mentioned that Bhagavan himself or Paramatman himself is described as Panchakoshatmaka. Actually, that is the interesting part within Viveka Chudamani also. Viveka Chudamani's claim is not only that it is giving us aatmaanaatmaviveka, it claims also that it is discussing sarvatmatva. The Guru repeatedly mentions this word sarvatmatva. Sarvatmatva means everything is self. So there is this, both the theories of everything is self and the distinction between self and non-self confuses the audience, and they say, if everything is self, where is non-self? Self and non-self distinction doesn't make sense when you are saying that everything is self. So that intriguing uh, analysis only is what makes Viveka Chudamani a very interesting discussion. Guru successfully makes the Shishya realize that while ultimately Sarvatmatva is the fact, that is, everything is self is the fact, but for an individual practitioner, he has to realize what his self is and what the ultimate self is, and how to distinguish between these two understandings of everything is self and there is another self, and how to distinguish between self and non-self. That question comes. So, as part of that, the Guru is saying that let us now gradually see whether this is self or not, this is self or not. Then the Guru is taking Shishya from layer to layer. He is starting from the outermost of the layers, Anna, Annamaya, Kosha. Then he is clarifying to the Shishya that this is not Atman. Why did you say it is Atman? Did I say it is Atman? Then he says that yes, in fact, we are looking at this as Atman, because where is Anna? Our body. Our body is made up of Anna, it is Annamaya. So we are able to realize that this part of our entity is Annamaya, and there are people who consider this as self. Otherwise, why do they give such a great importance to this body? Whether they decorate themselves or look at their appearance and treat it well, or give importance to the physical pleasures, all that they are doing is they are looking at the body as self. There is that false identification of self with the body. So that is countered by Guru in his conversation with his Shishya. And gradually he takes from one stage to the other. In the Shloka 153, the Guru says, Panchanaamapi koshanam apavade vibhatyayam shuddha nityanandaikarasah pratyagrupaha paraha swayam jyotihi. The ultimate everything that we need to realize is Panchanamapi Koshanam Apavade Vibhati. It is beyond all the five selves. What makes people get confounded here is that there is this assumption that that ultimate bliss, that absolute bliss is Paramatman, but that is one of the koshas, that is the innermost kosha, Ananda, and you are already saying that it is Ananda, but this particular analysis in Viveka Chudamani is saying that it is not even that Anandamaya kosha. Panchanamapi koshanamapavade vibhati. It is beyond all these Panchakoshas. And Nitya Anandaika Rasaha. It is again saying that there is Ananda in it and the juice of Ananda exists in it, and it is Paraha, it is the ultimate, and it is self-luminous, Swayam Jyotihi, it is Shuddha, it is pure, and it is Pratyagrupaha, it is very clearly apparent. So it is an inner indwelling entity. It is Nitya Anandaikarasaha. So after giving such lead, after giving that introduction, the Guru says, aatmaanaatmaviveka kartavyaha. Why bandhamuktaye? To get relief, liberation from, release from bandha, bondage, by a learned person, Vidusha, Atmanatmaviveka Kartavyaha. Tena eva anandi bhavati. Only by doing that discrimination, distinction between self and non-self, a person can become anandi. Swam Vijnaya Satchidanandam. We are able to see that Anandi Bhavati, Satchidanandam. Everywhere the word Ananda is getting repeated, and the innermost sheath, innermost layer is also being called as Ananda. And still the Guru is saying that it is beyond Anandamaya Kosha also. And later to that, the Guru says, we have to remove these Panchakoshas from our identification. Like, he gives the analogy of Munjadishi Kamiva. He uses the word Munja. Munja is a kind of grass. And just like Munja grass has many layers, threads in it. Ishikas are threads. After removing all the ishikas in the munja and other grasses, just the way the final entity remains, munjadishikamiva Rishyavargat Pratyancham Atmanam Asangam Akriyam Vivichya Tatra Pravilapya Sarvam Tadatmana Tishtati Yes Yaha Samuktaha, who remains as self alone, he is the one who is liberated. After giving all this introduction, then the Panchakosha Vichara starts, and it is in the 156th shloka that the Annamaya Kosha Vichara starts. Deho ayam annabhavano annamayaha tu koshaha. Deho ayam annabhavaha. It is forming out of food, and it is full of food. It is full of material. But in the end of the shloka, Guru is telling the Shishya, Na ayam swayam bhavitumarhati nitya shuddha. We have already defined the ultimate entity to be nitya shuddha, always pure. So, because this is made up of food, if something made up of something else cannot be ultimately pure. If it has to claim purity, it should not have anything else in it. So, because uh, it is made up of food, it is not permanent. It is seen, it is drishya. So, every limb of the body is getting controlled by the material. It is controlled, but it is not the controller. And self is controller. Self is something which is controlling other entities. It is not getting controlled by any entity because this body made up of food material is getting controlled. It cannot be the self. So based on all such logic, uh, it says it talks about in 161 shloka, it tells us how there is an illusion of identifying self with the body, and in 162 also uh, this illusion is discussed. Finally, in the 165th verse, the physical body is advised not to be seen as self, but it can be seen as something like a shadow or dream or imagination. So finally, it is there is a nishedha. Here in the title, there is this word nishedha. The word nishedha has to be properly realized. Nishedha is in a very general understanding. People understand nishedha as banning, but here the word nishedha is to say it is not. So it is this portion of Viveka Chudamani from 156th verse to 166th verse. It is doing nishedha of Anna. It is saying that this body made up of food material is not. That is nishedha. Is not the self. And from 167 to 168, only two shlokas, it is doing nishedha of Praanamaya kosha. And then from 170 onwards, Manomaya kosha portion is really very big because from 170 onwards, it is going up to 185 verse. It is analyzing Manomaya kosha and it is explaining how that portion is not self. Uh, the shlokas spent for Pranamaya Kosha are only two, but here it is 170 to 185, around 16 shlokas are spent for this portion. And then Vijnaanamaya Kosha is also explained, and it is 186th shloka to 208. A very big number of shlokas are dedicated to explain how Vijnaanamaya is also not the self. Finally, the comes the Nishedha of Aanandamaya kosha, that starts after 208, that is 209th shloka onwards. We have that discussion, but it is the last portion. It goes up to the 226 shloka, from 209 to 226, we have the Nishedha of Aanandamaya kosha. Actually, that is the most interesting part of the discussion because we have this word Ananda being used repeatedly by the Guru and describing the ultimate entity also as Ananda. That final part, Nishedha of Ananda, is what confounds the Shishya also. Shishya says, oh God, I have been waiting that at some stage you would say, this is self. You're one after the other, you're removing all the koshas. You are saying it is not Annamaya kosha. Then I thought you will say, oh, this is the ultimate self. But then you said it is not Praanamaya kosha. And then I was waiting and then you said that even this is not that. It is not Manomaya kosha, it is not Vijnaanamaya kosha, But finally, at least I was waiting for Aanandamaya kosha to be that. But you are saying that even it is not Aanandamaya kosha. Then the Shishya in 214th verse, he says, after the elimination of 5 koshas, I see a mere void. There is nothing. It is all shunyam. It is then that the Guru comes in and says, yes, you are right. That is actually, that's a very interesting, surprising response from the Guru. He says that, oh, yeah, that now we expect that Guru would say that no, it is not void. You should not say it is void. But here, surprisingly, Guru says that you are right. But then he says that the shunyatva, everything is void, is your experience of losing the outer layers. This is required. There is nothing is the correct realization, because there is nothing beyond what is saying I am. So with that logic, Guru very uh, caressingly, affectionately, he guides the student and he says, actually, by realizing that there is nothing, you have realized that there is nothing. You should not stop there. There is nothing beyond. So, by saying there is nothing, you have stopped all the identifications with the outer layers like Annamaya, Praanamaya, Manomaya, Vijnaanamaya, koshas, and even the Aanandamaya kosha, you are saying it is not there. So, that what is there then? Then you are saying they are not there. To whom they are not there? There is some entity which is saying they are not there. That entity which is saying they are not there is you. That is the answer to the question of who is you in you or that. So, because you are able to say that all those outer layers, all those 5 outer layers are not there, and the one in you, the entity in you, the portion in you, which is saying that all those 5 are not there, which is realizing that, which is saying that there is nothing, that entity is that entity which can say that even Ananda is not there, is the pure I, the pure I-ness, the pure self, which is able to say this, is the ultimate Atman. So, by realizing that there is nothing, you are actually thinking that that is your shoka. You are weeping that there is nothing, but actually it is Ananda. This Ananda, that there is nothing outside yourself. Actually, Vivekananda makes fun of this English expression, yourself or myself. And he says, yourself is a reflexive pronoun in English, but he uses as a split word, yourself. So yourself is yourself. So it is this self, yourself. You are realizing yourself. All the while you are identifying yourself with the entities which are not yourself. Now you have realized yourself, which is not all the entities with which you yourself are identifying. So that realization that there is nothing can only be, or only thing that is required is, instead of just stopping at the statement there is nothing, if you realize that there is nothing other than what is saying there is nothing, the entity that is saying there is nothing is yourself, because now you have come to the stage of realizing that now my uh, guidance to you is successful, because you are able to say that there is nothing else than Brahmabhutastu samsrutyai vidvan na avartate punaha vignatavyamataha samyak brahma bhinnatvam atmanaha. Brahma abhinnatvam atmanaha. For one's own self, the non-difference from Brahman, from everything, once that is realized, that is the actual realization. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Vishuddham Param Svatasiddham Nityanandaikarasam Pratyagabhinnam Nirantaram Jayati. If you see the structure of the book Viveka Chudamani by Shankara Bhagavatpada, all these words, Nityanandaikarasam, Pratyagabhinnam, all these words are already there in the beginning of this section, beginning of the discussion. Same words are getting repeated, which forms it a completion of the cycle of the discussion. So, with this 227th verse, in which those features of the ultimate self are repeated, Guru clears the doubt, confounded nature. Uh, he removes the shoka of the student. Actually, the book Viveka Chudamani, though people consider that to be a shastra work, has many emotional situations. Shishya, whenever he gets confounded or whenever he gets grief, he expresses it in a grieving way. So there is shoka rasa, and every time Guru comforts him. He comforts and says, yeah, 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 I understand. So please don't worry. At some stage, Guru says, there is no need to fear. Please don't fear. All your fear is uh, misplaced. And then there is an emotional expression from Guru, Shishya, saying that, oh, Guru, now you have removed all my doubts and I am very happy. So, here in this portion also, in the Panchakosha Vichara portion also, Tvam Padaartha Vichaarana portion also, towards the end, uh, the Shishya starts with this question of, oh, it is so confounding. It is you are saying there is nothing. So when there is nothing, how can I understand anything? In 214 shloka, the Shishya is saying that then the Guru gradually takes him. Uh, he says, yeah, you are right. There is nothing, but there is nothing other than what is saying there is nothing. And because you are able to say that there is nothing, you realize that you, yourself, which is saying there is nothing that exists. And please realize that. With that kind of clarification from 215th shloka to 227th shloka, the Guru clarifies to the Shishya. So there is an emotional conclusion of the Shishya realizing and thanking the Guru. With that, the Panchakosha Vicharana ends. Thank you.
Dhanyavadaha. It's only because of time that I had to come, and but the way you have explained, just like peeling a banana and giving us piece by piece, and we didn't want this to stop, but how beautifully you have laid out the Panchakosha and finally said the nishedha of that it is not, and identifying the different verses. I hope all the attendees today will go and start reading Viveka Chudamani and its commentaries, especially the last 214 to 227 that you referred to, 215 and onwards. Thank you so much. One question I have: if somebody wants to start with, maybe after this talk, wants to learn about Adi Shankara's works, do you advise them to start with Viveka Chudamani, or is there a sequence that you recommend? So we slowly uh, are getting ready to understand the complex arguments in Viveka Chudamani. What do you recommend as a sequence?
Viveka Chudamani is definitely a very useful beginner's book. So it is good to follow very good translation of Viveka Chudamani, preferably from a traditional insider. Uh, the There is one English translation of Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami's Sanskrit commentary, because he is a realized Swamiji. So interpretation coming from him, and then that is in English translation. That will be very helpful for the beginners. And I mentioned in my introduction to my father's commentary on Viveka Chudamani that Dakshinamurti Stotra is the most simplified, brief version of Viveka Chudamani only. The clue for that is the word Sarvatmatva that gets repeated in Guru's advice to Shishya in Viveka Chudamani. And at the end of Dakshinamurti Stotra also, you have Sarvatmatvam iti sputi kritamidam yasmadamoshni
Mm.
stave. So that's the conclusion of Dakshinamurti Stotra is that this whole stotra itself is Sarvatmatvam. Sarvatmatvam iti sputi kritamidam. So there, uh, this stotra getting repeated every day, if a sadhaka uh, thinks about, meditates about the meaning of each of these shlokas after studying Viveka Chudamani or without studying Viveka Chudamani also, this is a very good beginning to end tool. Dakshinamurti Stotra is a beginning to end tool. It can be used as a tool before going to Viveka Chudamani, and reminiscing Viveka Chudamani and internalizing it continuously every day. Dakshinamurti Stotra is the simplest and the shortest version for any beginner.
Wonderful, wonderful advice. In fact, Dakshinamurti Stotram is also written by, so Jagat Guru
Shank,
for people like
Shankara
us to
Bhagavatpada.
start.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, Shankara Bhagavatpada. So with that, once again, thank you so much for so beautifully, so eloquently, and so simply. Like again, I can only think of a banana being peeled for us and being fed in 5 different layers, and then there is nothing. The banana is over. That void is that ultimate ananda. So thank you very much, Nagaraj Garu. So with that, we will end today's session. Thank you all for attending. We will see you in about 11 hours on the next topic. The next topic is probably very, very relevant to a lot of people today. Is People might think Advaita is something just for discussions and intellectual curiosity. But tomorrow's talk is by Nima Majumdar. It's on Advaita for stress management, because knowing yourself, again, I love the way Vivekananda's words he played that you referred to. Knowing yourself is itself a huge relief of all the stress. So
It
yesterday,
is IST, it is 7 p.m. today.
yes, 7 p.m. correct. So it's about in about 11 hours, correct? 11 hours. And in one of the talks yesterday, somebody said the misunderstanding of Atma Swarupa is the cause of all sorrows, right? It was beautifully said that. So with that, tomorrow's talk will be on Advaita for stress management. We'll see you all. Thank you very much. Jai Jai Shankara Hara Hara Shankara. And Nagaraj Garu, once again, thank you very much.
Namaste.